Cheap and somewhat funny instant death has been an integral part of the Souls-like experience since Dark Souls 1. But like every joke, eventually it gets old. So when every single new Souls-like has a different way of pushing you off a cliff, dropping you through a floor, or getting you run over by a giant boulder, it can start to be a little bit grating. Especially because these aren't always telegraphed in a way that makes them actually avoidable. In the worst of cases, these deaths will even happen after long, arduous paths that took you forever to clear, sending you right back to the checkpoint and making you do it all over again. So imagine my surprise when in Lords of the Fallen, cheap instant deaths don't feel bad at all, but are instead fully hilarious, and sometimes even helpful. But how did they do that? Let's talk about the mechanic that makes that possible. In Lords of the Fallen, there are two worlds. There's the world of the living and the world of the dead. Your lantern allows you to traverse both. And moving between these worlds is in fact crucial to solving puzzles and just your general progression, as the world of the dead has a few notable differences from the world of the living. Not only is it a completely different looking world, but it also has a few ladders that don't otherwise exist, allows you to walk through walls, and, perhaps most importantly, gets rid of any and all water. So any water that you see in this game that is too deep for you to move through usually is an entire sub-level in the world of the dead. But most importantly for what I'm talking about, if you die in the world of the living, rather than die completely, you are instantly moved to the world of the dead. It doesn't matter if you drown, are pushed off of a cliff, or just lose a fight. You reappear alive. But why is this so important? This makes it so that when they have an enemy do something like push you off of a ledge, you don't actually die. So long as you're in the world of the living, of course. This not only encourages the player to be more daring in dangerous looking areas, but it also means that you can always laugh off one cheap death. Or if you chose to go to the world of the dead, and then you get pushed off, part of you has to sit there and accept, well, okay, I chose this. This mechanic's genius, however, goes beyond just that. There are certain giant enemies that can only be seen and interacted with while in the world of the dead. Most of them are petrified for lore reasons that I don't really understand yet, but when the game wants you to see one of them that is more noteworthy, it is not shy about going out of its way to kill you, because you come back anyway. And in order to go from the world of the dead to the living, you need to interact with a special totem. Take this example. A giant rock with way too big of a hitbox to ever avoid falls on my friend and I, killing us both instantly. Well, then we walk the rest of the way out of the cave, and we see the first of the beasts, a noteworthy giant that appears in multiple item descriptions.
What the f is that thing?
The game intentionally killed us here so that we would be able to see this giant beast up close, creating an impressive and very organic set piece. But whether it's giant rocks crushing you, getting pushed off of a cliff, or what you think is an item becoming a giant bug that eats you, this mechanic lets the world feel so much more dangerous without feeling more unfair. And as I've been playing through the game, I've come to just love it so much, because this game, especially with a friend, is just hilarious. The amount of times that my screen has just turned blue, and I've gone, hey, did you die? And I've heard an explanation about the craziest bullshit ever that you could never have avoided, and then I walk around the corner and just smack the enemy that killed him, cannot be understated. And it makes for such a better, more relaxed experience than most Souls-likes will ever have. So yeah, this two-life system is genius. I don't think every Souls-like could copy it, and I don't even think that this is the most impressive thing that Lords of the Fallen does, but when I'm talking about design, this is what stands out. How do you make cheap deaths feel funny? Well, remove the most frustrating aspect of them, which is the run back, especially if it's a harder area. And there you go. As for the game, at the moment, I would fully recommend playing it. It is free to pick up on PlayStation Plus, and it has been a great time. Anyway, that's all for now, and until next time, see ya.
I loved the fact that you get a second life in this game, because it makes anything that would otherwise be a super cheap death just fucking funny. And I mean, that goes double when it's multiplayer, so I get to just watch my screen turn blue. And I go, So I'm dead.